I will need to get there on time. Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm glad to be here and to be together with this group. When I received the email initially from D4D, I said, wow, I mean, this is a topic worth discussing, because although we in Kosovo feel a lot of closeness to the USA, actually there is so little that we know about the United States, and in this case about the political process in the United States. We know probably who is the president, maybe better than in some parts of the US, or maybe that is only a myth, I don't know. But in any case, there is, you know, so much more to be learned about the US. And yes, today is the 1st of March, Tuesday. So is the first Tuesday of the electoral year in the US, and popularly it is called a Super Tuesday. It's the day where more than 10 states, about 12 of them, not all of them, hold primaries or caucuses where people from both parties participate in closing the gap in the internal party race for the nomination for the election of the President of the United States of America. And yes, here we can distinguish two parties. The US is a two-party system. Actually, there are two main parties, Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And the primaries, the Super Tuesday, and the whole nomination process actually goes on within these two parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. As it was mentioned before, yes, the Iowa Super Tuesday has to do is organized in the form of caucus, and it is actually reflecting a form of direct democracy where people gather, deliberate. I would actually call it a combination of direct democracy and deliberative democracy, because prior to the final result, there is a lot of deliberation. There is a lot of discussion between people, and actually it presupposes that those that participate in this caucus, they went there with a free mind, you know, so they can be convinced who to support, you know, and that is the beauty of it, because that makes a good platform for a good argument, for presenting your policies and convincing the participants based on the policies that those candidates from within the party represent. As we can see from what has been happening so far in the race, there's a lot of criticism. So far the race is between the candidates of the Republican Party on the one side, candidates for nomination, and in the Democratic side. So you listen fierce debate, a lot of criticism, for example, from Ted Cruz or from Rubio against Donald Trump. And also, and if you actually listen to Ted Cruz, to Rubio, sorry, you actually think that he's engaging for the working people, you know, because both candidates want to undermine the leading position of Donald Trump currently. So there's a fierce internal party race in order to convince members of the party, but also those independents that will participate in the primaries, because in some states, not only party members, but also those that are independent have the right to choose, to pledge their support for a certain candidate and to actually supply him with the needed support. So you can see that this race is fierce. Now lately only we are actually seeing some first signals of inter-party accusations and races, and these came from Hillary Clinton, who gave a signal that she would be willing to start criticizing what Donald Trump is saying about his policies of America, about how he sees America. But it's still early for that. These are just signals. And I think that Mrs. Clinton has more advantage than any other Republican candidate because she has been candidate 8 years ago, and she lost the nomination for a very small percentage of delegate votes in July of 2008. So actually it was not a sweeping victory of Mr. Obama during the nomination process, because Hillary Clinton was quite close of winning the nomination, and I think that within the Democratic Party she has a good chance of winning this Super Tuesday, which will give her significant advantage for other primaries leading to the Democratic Party convention in July, where I am sure that she is going to win the nomination of the Democratic Party for the President of the United States. Whereas on the other side, the Republican Party camp has more candidates. Donald Trump has a significant advantage, but yet the number of delegates available make it possible for two other candidates, and I mean here Rubio and Cruz, as serious contenders of Mr. Trump. Now we cannot talk exactly what is going to happen there because the situation is more complicated. But in any case, from now, actually not from now, I believe from tomorrow when we see the results of Super Tuesday, is that right? That the next day we will already know the results? Yes. We can assume that Hillary Clinton will have achieved the lead that will secure her victory in other primaries leading to the convention. I believe that the U.S. system of electing the President of the United States, the process as such is long. It's almost 1 year. It's about 11 months, not counting the campaign that occurs the previous year. So it takes actually more than 1 year. It's about 1 year and a half. What is important and characteristic about the U.S. system is that it's based that the candidates for the president are chosen by the people. You know, it's in some states you have only party members, but it's the same like one member, one vote principle of electing a presidential nominee. But in other states you have either open or semi-closed primaries where not only party members can participate in selecting the nominee. So that is very significant because the presidential candidate basically comes from the grassroots. And that's, I think, what makes the U.S. democracy so special and so different from democracies in the continent, in Europe, about which I'm going to talk very briefly. This kind of system is not possible in parliamentary democracies, such as UK, for example, because we know that the president of either Labour or Conservative Party in the UK is elected by the party, okay, but we know that the person who is elected as president of the party will be informally will be the candidate of that party for prime minister. But then the prime minister is elected by the parliament, by the House of Commons. So this is a completely different system and works in completely different principles. In France, where you have a semi-presidential system, recently they've started to actually consume an American style of nominating their candidates, but it's still confined to the party memberships. So what they are doing in France, they are actually using the principle of one member, one vote in order to elect their candidate for the party. That's the principle that has been